and let's say let's name it as continuous improvement. Okay, and so what I mean to discuss is that we also need to kind of have a mindset of kind of continuous improving upon the steps upon these steps. So the continuous improvements are basically needed in this part, which is collection. Then let's say so it is also required in, let's say, trial steps, and then it is also required in the detection stage. Okay, and there's one more, there's a back loop which is actually from investigation to the continuous environment. So normally what happens is that we need to kind of um, once we have kind of started with kind of setting up the collection, detection, trials, and investigation steps in an organization, what we also need to do is we need to continuously improve on that. So what happens is that that decision on how much we need to improve, we actually get that from the investigation stage. So once we do the investigation, we felt that okay, we were missing certain kind of logs. Let's say we worked on any of the investigation where what happened is that, let's say, the detection didn't work out correctly. We didn't got an alert initially from our system, but let's say we got the alert from a third party, let's say from intelligence agency like FBI or some other organization. So based on that, one of the things that, let's say, we realized is that our alerting system that has been there in the detection stage is not that good, because we are getting the same information that we would have got ourselves from a different organization. So what happens because of that, there is a backward feedback loop to our continuous improvement plan from the investigation stage. Okay, and based on those kind of parameters, what we do is we again tune up our detection. We either tune up our detection, we take some decision on, let's say, we got some alert from a different organization and we were not able to kind of detect that, and we found that the issue was that our alerting systems were all good, but there were no logs. Let's say there was no specific Windows logs that was coming to the detection pipeline. Okay, so in that case, again, what we do is that we take that thing, that that alert, that investigation as a lesson learned, and then we again improve our collection stage over here, where we set up certain database where we start collecting those specific, let's say, window logs. Okay, so a continuous improvement is kind of required in all these three stages, and then we kind of have a feedback loop going back to the continuous improvement. Similarly, the trial step, one of the improvement that we can do is that, let's say, there's an alert that came up, and let's say we took, let's say, 1 hour just to triage the alert, which is kind of not a good way to kind of deal with any alert. So then we improve on ourselves. We set a certain parameters in our company where we say that any alert that comes up, the analyst needs to triage that alert in, let's say, just under 20 minutes. Okay, and the team shouldn't take more than 20 minutes over there. So this is something improvement we kind of take in all these three stages in SOC. Okay, so thing is that normally as a SOC, the daily work will be in these two steps, which, as I told, which is trial and investigation, and then there will be different teams who will be kind of helping you in kind of collecting or setting up the alerts in the detection stage. So the thing is that the best analyst of the team normally they don't just kind of understand these two steps, which is trial and investigate, but they also understand these steps, which is collection and detection. Okay, so a best analyst needs to also know about. So as a SOC team member of your organization, you guys will normally be handling the trial and investigation, but it's always best if you guys also have the knowledge what's happening in the collection, what's happening in the detection. We are also giving some feedback to the team who is managing the collection and detection. Okay, how to improve further, what logs you need, alerts kind of you can put in the network devices, let's say. Okay, so the best analyst needs to know even these two steps, okay, which is collection and detection, not just the trial and investigations. Okay, so now let's go further. Let me see if there's anything else we need to kind of discuss. Okay, so now the thing is that anything that is kind of interesting becomes an alert, as I told, and it get marked up for investigation. There will almost always be more than one item to attend at once, so trials will be necessary. Skill this process. Ideally, the SOC data organization tool help analysts pick the most important items first in top priority. So, one of the seemingly dangerous item, let's say one of the seemingly dangerous item is selected, okay, from the alert. So, what we must do is we must dive in, we must trials, we must investigate to see if it truly is something that is kind of bad going on, and then pass the case on to the incident response team required. So what happened is there are kind of different setup in different organization, which is like either the alert comes up and the SOC team handles that alert to completeness, or the company has another team which is called incident response team. And let's say the alert came up, it is not something kind of a less severe, it is really kind of, it looks like it is very high severe, it is a very high severity. And then normally the company who has the incident response team, the SOC team will, what they will do is pass on that alert to the incident response team or have a kind of a better, deeper analysis. Okay, so this is what normally happens in a kind of a organization which has the SOC team, and then it also has the incident response team. Okay, so thing is that now once that has been kind of passed on to the incident response team, analysts should be trained to do kind of understand the alert in a rigorous way, free of any kind of error of analysis. Okay, so doing this step, like all others, actually takes thorough training and improves, and it also improves with experience how to kind of handle any alert with a as quickly as possible and as kind of correct as possible. Okay, and one of the thing, guys, I wanted to kind of share what I have understood from my experience working in different other companies earlier, is that let's say there are 100 kind of teams in a company. Let's say your company has 100 kind of teams. Let's say there is HR team, there is finance team, and whatnot. But there is one team which is part of the SOC, which is called incident response team. Okay, and sometimes it's kind of a mix. Like SOC team is also a SOC, handles the SOC part, but is also kind of doing the incident response. Some in some organizations the incident response is separate, but this is one of the team. There is a phrase that this team can't fail. So other teams can perform mistakes, like let's say HR perform certain kind of mistakes. Let's say they don't promoted a guy who was deemed for promotion and different other stuff. They can commit the mistake. They have an area where they can commit a mistake and there won't be any major bad impact to the organization. But the incident response team is the one specific team in the company who can never go wrong in the organization. So they need to be such an expert. They need to know the alert. They need to know the company in such a detail. They need to kind of handle the alert at such a scale that there is no 0 point of error in handling of the alert. And the incident response team can never go wrong. They can never kind of commit a mistake. So reason is that, let's say there's an alert that came up, and let's say the incident response team is not that good. So what they will do is they maybe commit mistake, and what they do is, like, let's say they closes that alert as a benign positive, where in a real case it was a true positive case. So what will happen is that there will be major impact to the organization. Let's say attacker, we close out the case as benign positive, but the attacker is there, and the attacker has got a time. Like, since we closed the case, we didn't We are not seeing that alert